All right.
Marco.
Oh, shit.
Polo.
Am I doing Who's doing Marco? Who's doing Polo?
You do Marco.
Okay,
Polo.
Marco. Okay,
Polo.
Okay, okay, I got it. That was pretty quick. Can we keep that in? Let's keep that in the front of the show for everybody. Why not?
All right, everybody. This is now the intro to episode 274 of the Forces Comic News Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host, Marco, also named Mike.
Yeah, the very professional podcast, episode 274. Yeah, we have a special guest today. I don't want people to think we're doing that. So we had a little bit of technical difficulties. Chris bows out of the interview because he just became overcome with some greatness from Pat Shannon, had to go buy all his comic books. But we do have Pat Shannon on the show today, a writer for Zenescope. He's had about 20 something Kickstarters with his own publishing company, Space Between. And he's got a Cheeky on Kickstarter right now. If you've gone to Kickstarter and looked for comics, it's almost impossible not to see Cheeky because it's been at the top of the charts for, I don't know, as long as it's been funded, or going on for the campaign. And then we talk about we're going to talk about his new book, Oz of the Barb. So stick around for that. Him and I have a little chat, and we were having some lag issues, so you got to experience the Marco Polo check that I just came up with. But I think you were fucking with me there a little bit.
Yeah, so I literally do the intro, and then I'm never heard from again in the entire interview. So enjoy that, everybody.
I've left you alone on some interviews, so I figured we'd give you a break this week, and we'll just go from there. But yeah. So. Glad to have you back. I missed you. And it's so funny because the interview, I forget, we had a guest on a while ago where we talked about cheesecake covers. For anybody that doesn't know what a cheesecake cover is like a cover where you have like a scantily clad woman on the front, more for like collectible purposes, and it has nothing to do with the story. It's leading you to think, oh, it's going to be like a porn book or something. That's not the case, but we get a good explanation of it, which I don't think we got the first time.
No, we got a very lectury, over the top political answer last time.
Yeah, and I will say Pat does a very eloquent job of explaining, the misconceptions and that's like the whole basis of his new Kickstarter of like flipping it around, and such a great interview. So look forward to that. He's a cool dude. Got to have him back when Chris can talk to him. That's for sure.
A rare time when Chris doesn't get to talk to the guest, but Mike does. Yeah,
wow, that never happens. That was like, he was like, "Is he in it?" I'm like, "Oh, he's here. Don't worry, I'll just keep going." Yeah, he's fine. Oh man, good stuff. Welcome everyone. We're glad you're here.
For video listeners, you can tell I'm a little frustrated because there's a little bit of hair coming out of the hat. That's when you know the frustration's real.
Yeah. If you could see Chris's hair under the hat, that means he's been like plugging in cords, unplugging cords, trying to get his internet to work, and now he's a little flustered. But the show must go on. So anything new going on with you?
I purchased a PS5 finally.
Oh wow! I was just thinking about signing up for Sony Direct. So how did you get your hands on one?
So GameStop did one of their things and they sent out emails about it. I called my local one. They had like 4 of them the next day. And it wasn't like as big of a BS bundle as they normally could do. It came with like an extra controller and a charging station, a year of PS Plus, and it was a little bit more than standard price, obviously. But I was like, those are all things I could use with it, so why not? Let's do it.
No, you got the regular one, not the digital bundle, right? Or the digital.
The disc one, yeah.
Yeah. So, what games did you get with it? Have you tried anything out yet?
I didn't buy any games with it, but I did upgrade to the like extra or whatever it's called, and it's basically Game Pass. Even though Sony doesn't want you to think it's just Game Pass, but it's Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just Game
But
Pass.
Miles Morales Spider-Man's on it, so I've been playing that.
Nice. Yeah, man, I want a PS5. I mean, like, the only reason I would need for a PS5 is Demon Souls, which I can probably find a cracked modded version that looks real, or like HD version somewhere on the internet for my PC, but like, it's not the same, you know?
Yeah, I like my Japanese role-playing games, so like I'm gonna get Final Fantasy VII. I'll finally be able to play. I know it's on PS4, but I'm psycho, so when I heard it was on PS5, I was like, well, I have to play it on PS5.
Yep, of course.
And then, 16's coming out, a bunch of other stuff that I really enjoy, so I'm excited to have it. And then the exclusives,
Yeah.
you know.
We don't get to talk about video games a lot on here, but I did pre-order or put, my $5 down for the Steam Deck. Hopefully getting it sometime in October. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hopefully getting it by October. We'll see, because I'm in like the fourth quarter now for delivery. Yeah, I ordered it I think I ordered this back in April or May, and it still wasn't going to get delivered till October. So, and it's because of the hype behind it. A lot of people are saying it's worth it. It exceeds all the things they thought it would. And I have so many indie games that I want to play not on my Switch because I own them on Steam. So the best way to do it is have like a portable system where I can do that. So I can't wait. But
yeah, it's a cool device. I've heard some horror stories about the delivery method and everything.
That's the only thing I'm worried about is the delivery. Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll just jump into TV. There's not a whole lot of TV going on right now. We're kind of in the slump, but this is the episode 6 of Miss Marvel. This is the finale, right?
Yes.
So we could spoil this because I did watch the after credit scene because I had someone tell me that Miss Marvel was meh, but you should watch the after credit scene because it's a big thing for the Marvel universe, cinematic universe as a whole, right?
Yeah, so I disagree with the Matt. I'm really enjoying Miss Marvel.
Okay,
it's not the greatest show ever, but it's fun. There's like one bad episode in the whole bunch, in my opinion. And this one was like it's the last episode, so there's a big fight scene. There's the big save. There's everything you expect,
right?
And she finally gets her like embiggen power. Like she still isn't stretchy, but like she gets the whatever that like diamond Green Lantern thing that she's doing. Like she turns into the big version of herself with the big fist and everything, which is really cool.
Yep.
But I guess we'll get to what everybody's talking about. So yeah, it was revealed that she is a mutant, even though they don't necessarily say she has an X gene or something. But like,
right.
Anyone that's thinking that that's not where they're going is trying to kid themselves.
Yeah, especially because during the whole Fox and Marvel dispute, they weren't even allowed to use the word mutant, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, so.
And it's huge for multiple reasons. So fans of the comic are mad because in the comic she's an Inhuman. But so anyone that knows their history with Marvel and Fox and all that crap knows that like there was a period where Marvel was really pushing away from they weren't creating new mutants. Because then if they create a new mutant, then Fox gets to use it and Fox gets all the money.
Right.
Because I don't know if anyone knows this, but comics don't really make a lot of money.
Shame.
Yeah, it sucks. Trust me. It's both of our passion in life, but it's just the truth. And so they made her an Inhuman, but the original creators wanted her to be a mutant. They thought it made more sense for her to be a mutant. She was designed as a mutant. So it's kind of almost correcting the mistake of the comic, which is weird because it's usually the other way around.
Right.
So that's where that argument falls apart for me, where people are like mad that she's not an Inhuman. And also like, what better way to start the mutants? Like,
right.
You could start it with a new Wolverine or something, but that's tough. That would be There's gonna be more scrutiny over all the other mutants than there would be to just do it with her. So it starts that.
The scene has the 90s X-Men theme in it too, right?
Yes.
So it's like come on everybody. What are you thinking here?
Yeah. I heard a few theories like, well, they could still do something different with it. I'm like, Could, yes. Will they? No. So stop
No.
thinking it's going to go that way. It's just
Yeah.
she's a mutant. Like, that's what it is.
Right.
And then there's an
Yeah.
after credit scene that leads into the Marvels. That's kind of confusing. Like, something happens, and her and Carol like switch places,
Mm.
and Brie Larson actually shows up and like does a scene. So that was cool to see Brie back, and she's got like a new suit and everything, and her long hair back. Yeah, it was a good episode. I really enjoyed the series.
Damn.
I think it's worth
All right.
watching for any MCU fan.
And only 6 episodes too. It's not a whole lot to commit to. You know.
Yeah, it's far from my favorite. It's in the tier with Falcon and Winter Soldier, to be honest with you. I think it's a little better than Falcon and Winter Soldier, but it's in that tier for me. But I think it's worth watching. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, let's jump to this amazing interview we have with Pat Shan, and we'll see all of our adoring fans on the other side.
And we're back on the other side.
On the other side. Chris is back too, everybody. Wow, that was great. Pat's such a cool dude. So go support him. You know, look out for As of the Barbed. Check out Cheeky on Kickstarter. Like I said, if you open up comics on Kickstarter, it's hard to avoid that book. Yeah, and love to have him back. Very cool dude. So yeah, I guess we'll just jump into the comic news, Chris.
Let's do it. There's a whole lot of it.
Yeah. I did read quite a few books, and I want to talk about some new products that I've seen out in the wild for comics. Yeah, I guess I'll just start with that. So, do you remember a book? Oh my God, the Murder Falcon.
Yes.
So I was in Barnes and Noble, just hanging out, looking around. Which they have. I'm really pumped to see Barnes and Noble has a great like indie comics section, like a whole another bookshelf just that's not Marvel, DC, and then Image has their own bookshelf, and then they have like Vault Comics, Scout Comics, Ahoy Comics, and someone's actually ordering all those for Barnes and Noble, which is cool to see. But the Murder Falcon, I don't know if you've seen this, has a deluxe hardcover edition out, and it's like the cover is like the letters on it are foil, and even the binding has like foil, like Murder Falcon. So, like, if you have it on your bookshelf, it's still, like, reflective. I was like, I need to buy this for myself. And it was, like, $30. I was like...
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean...
Those
I'm
are usually
such a
50 and up.
Yeah. I know. That's why I was so shocked. So, yeah, go check it out. And even, like, a lot of the Vault comics, there's some really cool stuff there. And those trades are like, you know, even the hardcovers are like $20, $25. So I think the Barbaric one I got was $25, which is not bad at all. So yeah, go check it out. I know, like, if the option is Amazon or Barnes and Nobles, I'd probably go to Barnes and Nobles and buy something just because they're physically ordering stuff to keep in their store, you know. But
yeah, it's good that they do that because it's going to reach people that comic shops aren't. And as much as I love comic shop, like it's another audience that we desperately need.
Yeah, I'm not too impressed with my comic shops around here as of lately, but okay. Let's talk comic news. Christopher Cantwell, this is super exciting for Chris, announced on Twitter that he's running a new Namor series. The series will be an alternate future story 100 years in the future where the Earth is mostly covered in water. The series will feature art by Pascal Ferry. Waterworld.
Yep.
And yeah,
love Prince Namor. I love Prince Namor for a while now. Him being in the Invaders and all the old stories of him and Cap. He's just a great character. And the idea of, I mean, it's so Namor is just an angry Aquaman. Like, that's what he is. And the idea of either character, and I would be interested to see someone do it at DC as well, because it is going to be a little different of how Aquaman will approach it. But the idea of a character like that in a water world, and he now is the ruler of Earth, especially Namor, who's kind of a much more brutal of a ruler than Aquaman was. I'm so excited for this. And for Cantwell to be the one writing it, and for Pascal Ferry to be the one doing the art, I'm in. 100% I'm in.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool idea. I might even check out the first issue. The cover's amazing, and I do like that idea. It's almost like he's almost like a Black Adam-esque character, right? He's an anti-hero.
Yeah, like he's gone in and out. So
villain?
like,
yeah,
even during World War II, he was more of a hero, but it was because so much of the warfare was happening in U-boats and everything, and he ended up teaming up with Cap. Okay. But then as he grew, he was also kind of his own benevolent figure, and he had like this rivalry with Wakanda, and he's a great character to follow. And he never, unlike Aquaman, he never really gives up the throne. Like, he's a guy that thrives for the throne and lives to be on the throne. So like, yeah, it's just, I'm super excited for this book.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And apparently 100 years, he doesn't really age because he still looks pretty young.
Yeah, apparently.
From that cover, at least. Yeah, no beard or anything.
Atlanteans, they know how to age.
Yeah. After Polarity Ltd's recent acquisition of Oni Press and Oni Lion Forge Publishing, it seems that the parent company has decided to lay off a majority of the staff and cancel their San Diego Comic-Con appearance. The move was made in order to put the brand in place for long-term success. But yeah, I've seen some of these tweets going out from people that were working at Oni Press. So really great talent over there, and it's really sad to see them just get thrown out into the industry like that. I wish them all the best, but I would say that with most companies, your biggest asset is the people you already have working there. So especially the talented ones over at those companies. So really, it was really strange to see that last week.
Yeah, it was a strange thing all around. Hopefully everybody lands on their feet, but I know a lot of people that work in these kinds of industries. Like, the unfortunate reality of any entertainment industry, and even like a lot of reporters and everything, it's not as much, I should say entertainment reporters, it's not as much a job that you retire at. You don't really, you don't stay there your whole life for the most part. I mean, if you're really, really successful and you're Jim Lee and you make it to the top of DC, or you're CB Cebulski and make it to the top of Marvel, yeah. But there is turnover in those positions a lot, so it's unfortunate, sad, but it's not super surprising to me. The way they did it was super surprising, and unfortunate. So I hope everybody lands on their feet, does their best, and maybe this will lead to better things from other people, or from other publishers from these people. So,
yep. Okay, let's talk about what we read this week. I have a Kickstarter trade here. If you remember my story from California, I got to meet Keith Foster, and the art is by Lance Pilgrim. This is called Three Protectors. It was a Kickstarter trade that came out basically Kung Fu in space. You have these characters that are like the Watchers, and they host this like Kung Fu tournament with like three different protectors, and they fight on this planet, and the winner of the fight gets this like ultimate prize. And then, there's a twist at the end of like what happens, and the three different people from the planets. It's really cool, and it seems like they're setting up to do more. If you like old school like Kung Fu movies like I do, and you also like sci-fi, there isn't a whole lot like, they leave it open to learning more about like these gods and like why, and there's some setup of like, okay, one of the contestants wants to just like take them on after he wins the tournament. Really cool. Yeah, I really liked it. And I got to meet Keith Foster in a comic shop, and I overheard him talking about this book after I had backed it on Kickstarter. So it's just a weird coincidence, but I think you would like it too, Chris.
Is this the Invader comic?
What else did I have? Three Protectors. Oh, yes, it is Invader. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's from Invader Publishing. Yep. I just started the first trade of Nightwing by Tom Taylor because I've heard such good things. So liking that so far. And I know I keep talking about Hoopla because I'm all about the library right now, but they have some 60s Batman trades on there, so I'll be reading those next. I read Mindset #1, really good, but also like really creepy, because like it's almost a little too real. Yeah, Zach Kaplan, guest of the show a couple weeks ago. It's about the future and like people and mind control and an interesting approach to it, dealing with apps and social media. So check that out. I caught up on some stuff. I had the Black Adam tie-ins for the movie with Hawkman. Hawkman isn't my favorite hero, but we get to see some action. We get to see some different character interactions, and we get to see a skinny Rock drawn into the comics, because each one of the comics has this mini series in the back that deals with like the origin of the Rock's character, Black Adam. And I don't know if you can see it here. I'll hold it in front of me. That panel in the bottom corner, he's doing the people's eyebrow. There's like a close up of his face, and he's doing the people's brow, like straight from wrestling. So kudos to Marco. Yeah. Marco Santucci doing the art there, so kudos to him. DC versus Vampires. I think you read this last week, right? It was really good.
Yes.
Monkey Prince. You're not reading this. Monkey Prince #6.
I am reading
basically. That. Oh, you are? Okay. Yeah. Did you read it this week?
Yeah.
So what did you think? I really liked it.
I really liked it. I mean, we're doing Aquaman villains. Black Man is involved. I like the like giant crab monster thing, and they're expanding kaiju. The backstory of that character as well. The Monkey Prince himself, and showing like what his father did and all that stuff, and talking about Journey to the East or Journey to the West. Forgive me, I'm zoning on that book. So yeah, I thought it was a great issue. I really liked it.
Yeah, I also like the reveal at the end that his father's trapped, and he like in the Phantom Zone, and then he gets like a signal that he's going to be coming for his son.
Yeah.
Prodigy #1, the Icarus Society. This was a Mark Millar book that they're redoing. Basically, you find out, it's like Mark Millar's version of Limitless, but by the end of this issue, we find out that he's being attacked by someone, and there's a whole society of these people called the Icarus Society, of these ultra smart, ultra like talented people that can get away with anything. So I think it's a cool setup, and I then there was like the whole Mark Millar thing of the guy who made himself have like monkey hands, which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, I think it was a good start to the next set of story. Rouges, I think. Is this no, this is not the final issue. This is 3 out of 4. Really good. They're Snart is in Gorilla City with the Rouges to steal the fortune there. Obviously things don't go as planned. And with all the bad things happening, they find out that they captured Gorilla Grodd's son, so then he wants to use him to negotiate for the gold at the with Grodd, because they pretty much know they're not getting out of there alive, and that's going to be their bargaining chip. And then I had Army of Darkness versus Reanimator, Necronomicon Rising #1. I've never gotten into the Reanimator at all, and then like the crossover and like who that character is. But basically, the moral of the story is like the Reanimator revives the evil Ash, and he like creates a body for himself, and he's going to be running around, causing havoc. And then basically Ash is just trying to do his own thing and have a meal in a diner, and then the Deadites show up, and he's basically like, why am I the one that always has to deal with this? And she's like, well, you're the chosen one, you need to fight. So he's like, okay, I guess I'll fight with you. And that's kind of where it leaves off. It was a good issue. I like that. I mean, I love me. Yeah.
I've never seen Reanimator.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. So now, like, 20 people out there are really mad.
Yeah, sorry. But that's all I had this week, Chris.
Okay, I'll be quick with mine because there's a lot, but yeah. Town Called Terror number 4. Basically, our hero of the story is in his father's mansion, and his father zaps him to another dimension. I think it's either purgatory or hell. And he ends up meeting or finding his mother and where she's been hiding. So there's some secret that his father's keeping from him involving his mother, and it involves dark magic. And I get the feeling that the lead character is like some sort of demon. Last issue we found out he had these giant like bat wings and all this stuff. So it's still a really good book, great art, enjoying it. Punisher number 4. I'm still along this ride out of morbid curiosity, but I'm not really enjoying it, to be honest with you. It's so basically Ares is mad that Punisher is now worshiping the Hand, and he believes that he should be worshiping, or I'm sorry, that Frank is worshiping the Hand, and he believes that Frank should be worshiping him, that he's worshiping a false god and all this shit. And on the other side, Lady Bullseye finds him and tries to kill Frank when he unleashes the demon inside of him and kills him, and like this whole thing. So it's weird. I don't know. I don't like this Punisher like heel turn that they're doing. 8 Billion Genies number 3, which was, we had the Asian couple, the guy had to go and like settle a score. So we get that story of him, like, and it's basically an excuse for him to run through the world and show how like crazy it's gotten. And all of the genies have told them that like there's still 4 billion of them out there, so not everybody's even gotten their wish. And we also get that some people are wishing to like bring people back from the dead. So like Jim Morrison's in this issue because somebody wished him back from the dead and to have sex with him, apparently. And
oh, awesome.
He ends up at the bar and just wants a drink, and then he just explodes because something happened on the other end that like ended his reincarnation. And they said that what happens is when the person who wishes somebody back to life dies, the wished person also dies. Really, really great book so far. Can't recommend that one enough. Quest Aside number 3 was basically the guy running the bar finds some kid and he ends up training him, and it's just in time because the king has sent his men to take over the bar and apparently kick him out. So, and there's a lot of going on in the back side of the story, like the skeleton cook ends up quitting and then coming back. His girlfriend like breaks up with him, a bunch of like weird sitcom-y stuff, but another great book that I highly recommend. Barbaric, The Harvest Blade number 1. This is kind of an intermediate story in between volume 1 and 2, where he goes on this mission and he ends up finding out that one of the women on the mission is this thief, and she ends up backstabbing everybody and using him as like a catalyst to try to get this mission done. And there's a whole backstory with her where like her people and these like demon looking people lived in the same town together, and the demon looking people kind of enslaved them and then forced them to do these things, and now she's getting her revenge and taking the town back. Really good book, but I'm looking forward more to volume 2.
Yeah, me too.
We'll leave those for later. Moon Knight number 13. Moon Knight's angry at the head of the vampires, so they're fighting. And at the end of the book, we realize that something has triggered Moon Knight and brings out his other identities again for the first time in the series. And it just ends with him saying, like, we all need to talk. Also in this, we find out that Taskmaster is afraid of Moon Knight, and he's the only hero that he will not take a mission to attack, because he believes that Moon Knight is one of the only heroes that will go over the edge. So that was kind of a cool reveal with a Taskmaster.
Wow.
Daredevil #1, Chip and Chichetto back on the book. This is just a setup for what they're doing. It's a lot of what was going on in Devil's Reign, where they were talking about like how they're going to start this new organization. They're going to go like fight the Hand and blah blah blah. But they do. It's kind of his last goodbye to New York. So he has a one last mission with Spider-Man, which is really cool. And Elektra goes and meets with Stick and recruits him to help them as well. So Stick's going to be in the story as well. Really great start to the story. And I think you really don't need to know the prior run or Devil's Reign to get into it. Because it kind of explains, it doesn't explain Devil's Reign, but that's not important. What's important is like what his mission is now and where he's going. So I really liked it. Axe Eve of Judgment #1, which is that Avengers X-Men Eternals crossover. This is the prelude book to the actual event, and it was the biggest waste of time I've ever spent. Yeah, apparently the Eternals are mad at the X-Men, and the Avengers aren't mad at the X-Men. And the X-Men are like just chilling on Krakoa. And the Eternals have found a reason on why they need to eliminate all mutants, because there's some sort of deviant like spawn or something, so they say. It all sounds a lot like a metaphor for World War II to me. But it was kind of like just a one giant setup and just way too wordy of a giant setup. But I'm still going to pick up Axe because I'm a sucker for that shit, but yeah, the prequel, not worth it. And then my last book was Dark Crisis: Worlds Without a Justice League, Superman #1.
I did read that too.
Unless you're a giant Chris Burnham fan, I don't think this is worth your time.
Yeah.
It's the story of how John like decides he's going to go and fight this war when he turns 18. And it's told like 2 pages at a time, 2 pages for 1 year of life. And it's just very short. It's one of the few times where I'm like, this is way too short. So I wasn't a big fan of that one.
Yeah.
But Mike, that was everything I had this week.
Okay.
Tom
sounds
King
good, Chris. That. Yeah, I was going to say that was a Tom King book. Yeah, interesting.
I forgot to say, too, there's an Aquaman backstory, and it was okay. Aquaman's king, and something happens, and like everybody's friends in this universe. I don't know what it was very confusing and just like cluttered. They're trying to tell an Elseworld story in one issue, and actually half an issue, because it was 2 stories in one, and it didn't work very well. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to keep buying them. But anyways, Mike, that was all I have this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
Well, they can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter and at FortressComicNews.com. Also, the show can be found on Twitter at FortressComics_. If you want to support the show further, remember to like, subscribe, share, comment down below in the YouTube version, and to give us a 5-star review on the podcast version on whatever podcast you use. Also, patreon.com/FortressComics. Thank you all so much for listening this week and dealing with technical difficulties this week. And we will see you all here next week.
See ya.